Hey, welcome to an all-new episode of Kristy Doesn't Know Shit About Movies, the podcast.
Podcast edition.
How you doing?
I'm doing terribly because my water's way over there and I'm kind of thirsty. There's also Tostitos by my leg, but I can't eat Tostitos while doing this.
This is going to be a long 10-plus minutes.
Oh, God.
Okay, our first movie of the episode is 2001: A Space Odyssey. Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. What do you think it's about?
It's definitely weird. If it's anything like Clockwork Orange, there's a lot of unwarranted dicks. 2001: A Space Odyssey follows a spaceman. This movie was done like a long time ago, so it's like predicting the future, which was 2001 at the time, which is now the past. Okay. So it's a severely outdated movie.
Outdated just because it's old?
Oh, it's outdated because it was predicting the future of 2001, okay. But 2001 has now passed, so
True.
It's dated.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it follows a character named Major Tom, played by David Bowie, who is stuck on the International Space Station. Now, I'm not sure if that existed at the time that this movie was made, or if it gave NASA the idea.
It was 1968. This movie was released.
Okay. So that was before the space station. So this was predictive in a certain kind of way. Major Tom got stuck in space. He was feeling rather sad. It's not quite a musical, but I feel like there's a lot of music in this movie. There was probably a robot sidekick who was made mostly of like tinfoil, because I think there were a lot of practical effects. And this movie was kind of made possible because isn't there like the conspiracy that Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing?
Yeah.
So I think this movie is what gave people a connection, because I believe it was filmed in a similar time, and people say, like, we're pretty sure that he used the same set.
I think it goes that in exchange for helping them fake the moon landing, the government would supply Stanley Kubrick with state-of-the-art cameras to film his movies and stuff.
Well, people probably figured it out because he used the same set, too. People were like, wait a gosh darn tootin' second, y'all. This here looks mighty similar to what I have just witnessed with my bare eyes on the television screen. And now it's on the silver screen. This seems mighty suspicious that David Bowie is in the same spot as what I just saw them, their astronauts walking on. So, in the end, Major Tom makes it back to Earth to give his child a hug.
That's that?
And
oh, sorry.
If you look really closely at the moon, you can probably see tiny imprints of dicks, because Stanley Kubrick likes putting suspicious amounts of dicks in his movies. Just from what I've seen. Like, I was so bad. Clockwork Orange is a movie I've actually seen, and I read the book first.
Yeah.
And there was an alarming amount of dicks that were not in the book.
Right.
Yeah.
It's for that. It's a visual aid. You know.
That's not a visual aid. That's just a lot of dicks.
Depends who you ask, I guess.
It's a lot.
All right,
It's
moving.
an overwhelming amount.
Moving right along.
All right, on your little cue card piece of scrap paper.
Looks like a ransom note.
Yeah, it does now. There's a lot of like scratchings out. And,
Tell me about these movies.
All right, what you got for me?
Our next movie is Gladiator. What do you think Gladiator's about?
All right, Gladiator. It takes place in the Roman Empire, not current day, but the height of it. In the Colosseum, greased up, oily men played by no-name D-list actors grapple with each other while trying not to touch junk. For some of them.
Okay.
There is a guy who probably has no reason to be a gladiator. His previous job was selling dates and preserving dates. And he was buff. And someone came up to him and was like, "Hey, I own gladiators and you're buff. You want to fight?" And he's like, "No, I'm buff from packaging and preserving dates." So, sorry, sir. I know not of gladiation. I just want to sell dates. And this other guy was like, "Well, I'm just going to capture you then." Because I assume in early Rome, if you were rich, you could just go around capturing people. Much like a game of Pokemon in today's virtual world.
Yeah.
So, a rich man captures this date salesman and forces him into gladial combat. And he's very ill prepared because he's never done that in his life. He's played by Tom Hanks.
Why would you wait until I'm drinking my beer to say that?
Because I realized that there was probably some, like, known actor in it.
God damn.
A buff, greased up. Oh God. Buff, greased up Tom Hanks.
We went there.
A man who used to sell and preserve dates is now a gladiator who is ill prepared for combat. He fails his first few gladiations fairly badly. He quit rolling around over there. Jesus.
I dropped my card. It's important.
Oh my God. He doesn't do well. He's still entered into tournaments because he's now owned by this older, richer man. He has to go through a tournament. He should be out first round, but there's a series of mysterious poisonings to all his opponents. Very suspicious. It gets him up in the leaderboards by default. Oh God, it swallowed dust. He only has one fight in the whole tournament that he actually has to do, just because he won by default for the rest of his matches, and he actually wins it and goes on to become the greatest, most undefeated gladiator of the tournament.
That's Gladiator.
It's
already.
like Greasy A Knight's Tale. Yeah, with Tom Hanks. Buff Tom Hanks. A young buff Tom Hanks.
You forgot Greased Up.
A young greased up, oily, buff Tom Hanks.
All right. Huh.
I know, it's a lot to get your mind wrapped around.
It's too much.
Yeah.
A little too much.
I think
All
that's
right.
why it didn't do so well. No one in the audience could watch that.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
I need to get my water.
Go for it.
Ooh. That dust gust I got into the back of my throat, that put me off.
Gusts of dusts.
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with your basement with all these dusty gusts?
Some gust dust. All right, we got to cut this shit out. This is going to be like the only episode we got to cut something out of. All right. What are you doing?
I was trying.
What is wrong?
I was trying. Oh, I spit. Holy shit. I was trying to swallow loudly into the mic
And
to
you
be
choked.
gross.
And then you choked.
And then you asked me what I was doing, and I almost died.
We'll leave that in. Okay, our third and final movie of the episode is Beetlejuice. Kristy, what do you think Beetlejuice is about?
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. All right, Michael Keaton didn't.
I just hold on. I just want to point out that Kristy looked over her shoulder after she said Beetlejuice for the third time.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that Michael Keaton didn't just appear behind me. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So my understanding of Beetlejuice is kind of a cheat because I think I used to watch the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a cartoon. I used to kind of watch it, but I was like probably 3, so I don't really remember it. Also a cheat, I accidentally, much against my will, saw the Beetlejuice musical offered at Universal Studios,
Okay.
even though it has no right to exist. So I was subjected to that a few years ago. But my understanding of Beetlejuice is that Michael J. Fox and Winona Ryder are driving one night and die. They're a couple. Then they're dead. And but I don't think they know they're dead. They just kind of carry on, and they might be zombies because I think they can touch things. I don't think they're ghosts.
Okay.
They're shambling corpses who shambled their way out of the car.
That's who now?
Michael J. Fox and Winona Ryder shamble their way out
Okay.
in a dead corpsey state and get to, I don't know if they're staying at a creepy motel or if they bought a haunted house. They get to the haunted house and they don't know that they're dead, and they find a creepy book. And the book's like, don't say Beetlejuice 3 times. And they're like, why would we say Beetlejuice 3 times? Michael J. Fox is like, Beetlejuice is such a weird word to say too. And Winona Ryder is just like, yeah, as if I'm ever going to say Beetlejuice. Well, now they've said it 3 times. Tim Burton directed it. I'm just going to interject with things that pop into my head. And then Michael Keaton appears behind them, and he's like, hey, what's up? I'm Zany. And they're like, ew, what are you? And he's like, I'm Beetlejuice. You said my name 3 times. Now I'm going to harass you for eternity. And oh, look, you're dead, so eternity is going to be a long time for you. And then they're like, what do you mean we're dead? And he's like, watch. And he like spins Michael J. Fox's head around or something. And one of them becomes a bird for a second in claymation. They're like, we're not dead. Help us be alive. And he's like, no, I'm a lovable prankster. Why should I help you? And they're like, lovably prank us back to life. And then after a while of mild harassment and strong inconvenience, Michael Keaton's like, all right, you guys can be alive again. And they're like, thanks, man. And then I want to say they wake up in their smoldering car and they're okay.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What?
That's not anything what it's like. I'm joking.
I think the bird thing's true because I saw a meme of it this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's where you get your information. All right, well.
All my estimations come from pop culture references and memes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's believable.
Yep.
Good episode. Thanks for listening.
Woo!
Bye.